Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to York, live here with our General Secretary Dave Ward, Acting Deputy General Secretary Postal Andy Furey. Afternoon to both of you.
Yeah, good afternoon.
So, I mean, we've been promising you, and we were going to do loads and loads of live content. We're going to have a big Q&A. You saw Dave down in Portsmouth last week doing a members meeting. We're going to give you as much of this type of content as we possibly can, alongside our written comms, videos, and everything else we would normally do as part of, putting an agreement out to the membership. Come to you first, Dave, because this is sort of the bedrock of our plan, really. We're going around into all of our local reps who've done such a fantastic job in extreme circumstances. We've heard some horrific stuff today about where people have been treated, and ignored, and are making the case really, but that they need help and assistance in the office. We've had people come to the rostrum and say that, really, really pleased with the agreement. It's a foot back in the door. We've heard other people come up and raise their concerns. It's been a good debate overall.
Yeah, it certainly has. And I suppose one of the things I would say is that everybody has seen, that there's stuff on social media. We look at that and we sort of say, well, there will be some legitimate concerns raised by members there. There's obviously, to be perfectly honest, a lot of misinformed views from what's being said on social media. And there is, unfortunately, some campaigns that are being run by political groups, not people in our union as such, people who are beholden to other political groups. So we don't take a lot of notice of that. We do, of course, of the views of our members, genuine members. But what the briefings have given us an opportunity to do is, have a really informed discussion about the agreement. And what we've seen today, 300 or 400 of our local reps from the Northwest and Northeast come here. We've given them that opportunity to question us on every aspect of the deal. A lot of them, obviously, there's some frustrations. One common theme that's coming through is that, we may get an agreement, or we may have an agreement, but it doesn't feel like peace has broken out. And that's why, and Andy will cover a little bit as well, why we've pushed the ballot back a week, because we've got to pin down some of these managers who clearly, in our view, do not want the agreement. So until we've had the meetings where our local reps as well get involved with their local managers and they go through it and they're satisfied that the managers are going to hold firm and support the working together aspect of this, and that includes up front trying to deal with the revision chaos that's out there at the moment in quite a lot of offices, and we're talking to management about that. So we want that opportunity to continue those discussions with Royal Mail. Wouldn't it be great if the management actually showed a bit of humility about how they've treated our members and reps in the last year or so, and that's what we've got to see. Now, look, there's also speculation there today about Simon Thompson, the CEO. I mean, that, they'll do whatever they need to do on that. But we do think it's time that the Royal Mail had a fresh look at how they treat our members. And there's no prospect of the company being successful unless the managers recognise that you've got to get the workforce on board, you've got to honour the agreement in all aspects. We accept that we've got to face up to change. We've had the opportunity to talk about all of that today in quite some detail as well, which I think has reassured a lot of people around later starts, later finishes, seasonal variations, how the network changes are going to operate. Overall, fantastic briefing, good, robust debate, exactly what we want, and we're going around the country doing the same everywhere.
I remember, Andy, and I want to come right back to you if I can, because people I can see online in the comments, and I think it was reflected today in in some of the contributions as well, that there's, before we even get to, there's a clouding issue here, what the agreement is, what the future of the industry looks like. But actually, I am being treated like crap right now. I'm having, we were hearing, a story today. We've agreed a maximum of an hour finish times. One of our local reps gets up and says, I've been told an hour now, another hour in August, and it's going to continue, and it's going to continue, and it's going to continue. People on here, are facing that intimidation. Traditionally, we spoke before today's briefing. In this type of environment, agreements that yourself, Andy, and other officers have struck over the years before, we'd have felt a calming down and everything at this juncture. We'd have felt, a different tone, and Royal Mail would have been laying the ground for people to go, well, actually, maybe they have changed, maybe they have listened. We're not getting that now.
Well, I'm hoping that we will get that before the ballot commences, because the reality is, our members have got to remember the journey we've been on. This company and the people that we sat opposite in the room to, many of them, they never wanted any agreement with this union. They never wanted any agreement that would do anything other than allow them to continue to impose change. The deal stops that, what you're seeing out there is a group of management led from some people at the top who have got themselves in a place where they think they can continue doing that. It's not acceptable. And that's why, as I said earlier on, we've put the ballot back a week to enable us to continue those discussions with a company, to agree what the agreement says, advance 2.5 of the agreement, to tackle the problems on quality service, to tackle the problems in local revisions. And most importantly, to get these managers to show some humility, start treating our members better. And the message, to Royal Mail management, those who go, good riddance to them. Those who stay, you've got to change. The company cannot survive if you continue to treat a workforce like this. So look, we've got a job of work on there. We accept that, but that's not a reason. The trust issue, I said it the other week in Portsmouth, and I think the members understood it. If you see the reason to trust, there's not a reason not to vote for this deal, then you're actually endorsing the behaviour that is there at the moment. So we've got to sort that out. We've got to see management, not the union saying it, but management saying, we're going to treat you better, we're going to work with you, we're going to restore the industrial relations framework exactly as the deal says. And we're confident that by the time the ballot goes out, that will be the message coming from management.
Thanks, Dave. Andy, that's one of the things that what Dave's touching on is Royal Mail's behaviour is perhaps turning this into, in the members' eyes, more of an emotional decision than perhaps it would normally be for them to take a stock of the agreement, have a look at it, measure it up how it fits for them, and vote accordingly. But for example, we can see in the comments now, our members are saying, well, the changes are continuing to happen right now by executive action. So obviously a sensible step back position would be, well, that's a reason for voting for the agreement. Because actually, you're going to get a grip of those things. We're going to get your local rep back in. We're going to get your area rep back in. We're going to get the IR framework reinstated. But at this juncture, because of the sort of, people are proud. They're proud to work for Royal Mail. They don't want to bring back mail every single day. They don't want to fail their customers. They don't want to feel bullied. They don't want to come in the morning and not knowing, what's in front of them, or what their duty is going to compose of that day. So how do we, I mean, talking through, and I'll give you the opportunity, I know you've now decided with the executive to put the ballot back a week. How in this next week or so do we create an environment that is conducive to people not voting emotionally, but actually taking a step back and thinking this deal's all right in the circumstances?
Well, I think it's only natural that people do look at things emotionally. I mean, look, this has been the most vicious, spiteful dispute. The way management treated all of our members has just been absolutely despicable. And that's manifested itself in this "it's our company to run" mantra, this attitude that they know best and that they can just drive through whatever change they want, irrespective of the wishes of our members. And look, what these people at the top of the company need to understand is there is no Royal Mail without our members. Our members, day in, day out, make Royal Mail the success it was and can make it again if they're given proper leadership from the management. They've got to change their attitude at the top. And what I think is happening here is that locally on the ground in many, many workplaces, managers have seen the agreement and don't like it because it clips their wings. It takes away some of this power that they've been given during the dispute, and it holds them, the agreement holds them to account. Of course, these managers don't want that. So there's no doubt in our minds that they're trying to sabotage it. And that sabotage is from people at the top not giving the right leadership, and it's people, managers on the ground, carrying on in their terrible behaviour, because their behaviour is not acceptable in today's society. And our people shouldn't have to come to work be faced with that attitude. So today's briefing's been fabulous. It's been a really good debate. There is some people that are still worried about the agreement, but they're worried about it because of what's going on the ground at the moment. And the reality is, what's going on the ground at the moment, the agreement will address and deal and put right a lot of those wrongs going forward. Look, I think this is like the proverbial super tanker. It's not going to stop overnight, and it's not going to reverse and turn around overnight. But look, we put it to management, Zarina Brown, that we're available to meet on Friday to address these issues under section 2.5 of the agreement. It is about restoring the quality of service. It is about ensuring the USO is dealt with properly, and that mails are dealt with as it should be. And it's also about dealing with the failed revisions where people have got too much workload and there's not enough time in the day to do the job. That's what we want to get around the table on Friday. sort it out. It's in para 2.5. It's about measures and agreed measures for dealing with that, dealing with the revisions that have failed. Clearly, lots have. If we have that meeting on Friday, we're really optimistic that we can move forward. That's why we've put the ballot back a week. But also, we need the opportunity to get out. We're in Birmingham tomorrow, London on Monday. We're up to Glasgow on Tuesday next week, and over at Belfast on Wednesday. So proper engagement with our representatives, good debate, and we're confident that overall the message will get back to our members that the deal's worth supporting. But we have got to make sure that management behave more responsibly and appropriately and stop the attacks on our members and reps.
Thanks, Andy. One of the things I thought Andy said then is really important. It's perhaps being taken in a different way by some of our members is the point of like, so some of members would go, oh, Royal Mail really keen for this agreement to go through. You know, and that is actually, if you split that down, I think in two, because I mean, you don't want to stand here going every single manager in Royal Mail wants to smash union, because that isn't true either. But it does seem to me that like there's two definite camps in Royal Mail. Perhaps the camp that has recognised and been forced to recognise that there's no future for this company without taking the workforce with it, and all justifiably and fully into the agreement. And the other camp, who perhaps some members would say, oh, they don't want the agreement. They do want the agreement, but actually the truth is they don't want it, because what the agreement means is they've got to negotiate again. They've got to meet our local reps again. They've got to engage with the union again. I just think it's worth your sort of commentary on that, really. And the thing is, like, people who would maybe see voting no as like sticking two fingers up to that group of managers, when actually probably the opposite is true, isn't it?
I mean, that's exactly what we've been saying. I mean, people have got to analyse that and realise that voting no because of a lack of trust, and people will have other issues that they will need to consider in the agreement. But as we've said here today, we believe taken as an overall package, taken on the basis of the circumstances, unparalleled circumstances and the challenges we're facing that we've all had to deal with, the agreement is the right way forward for our members, for customers, and indeed the future of the company. But there is a power struggle going on in Royal Mail, and you'll know when those messages change, because they come from the top of the business and they get filtered out down to the local managers and the comms and delivery offices and all the various local manager groups. And until that message changes, then that behaviour probably continues. And Andy said something that is crucial here. What we want the company to just come out and say and admit is they got it wrong. They got it wrong when they said it's our business to run. That was an appalling description of how they were going to impose change, and an appalling description of how badly and what they've gone on to do, how badly they've treated workers. They've got to rein those managers in. Now, this agreement is the best opportunity to sort that problem out. What we're now doing is facing up to those same managers, and we're saying you've got to put the right message out now and admit that that was wrong when you said that, and that you now want to work with people. And the start of that is in the local revision. So we're spending, between going around the country and talking to our reps, every minute of every day that we've possibly got to get to the management team and say to them, we want to hear you say that directly to our members, and obviously then our members will be able to make a better judgment and a better decision on the future. What we're not doing, and I do want to be clear on this, we're not shying away from change. That's not what this is about, because we've made the argument today, and actually we think most of our people get this, that without change, without the right change, without negotiating change in the way that the agreement sets out, the company isn't going to survive and prosper in the future. Therefore, our members' jobs aren't going to exist in the future. This company does face lots of challenges. We're honest brokers in this. We will stay strong on all aspects of the agreement. We'll honour it, even where there's aspects of it that our members feel they don't like. We'll admit that not everything's great in there, but as a package, it's a good deal overall. And we'll be honest about that. But the company have got to now start showing some serious integrity in how they deal with this. And it is down to, I'm saying this to all of our members, it's down to, they got a civil war going on in the company. It's being played out privately, but it started to be played out publicly with some of the stories that were circulating in the press yesterday. And let's hope that the right people come forward to lead this company in the future, which means people who back the workers, not attack the workforce.
Thanks, Dave. Andy, I mean, obviously we're now off to Birmingham. Like you said, we've got London, Glasgow and Belfast next week. A closing message from yourself, and I'm sure you'd want to wrap into that a thank you to our local reps, for the way they've conducted this briefing, which I thought was excellent.
Yeah, I think we're encouraged by today's briefing. A lot of support for the agreement, some disagreements to the agreement, but I think we've had a good opportunity to explain it, answer a lot of questions, provide clarification. One of the important things going forward is that we're in the process of setting up a joint meeting with our divisional representatives, the regional ops directors, RODs as they're known, and general managers, along with the two negotiating teams. Now, we expect that meeting to be, maybe the end of next week or early the week after. That meeting is vitally important because that is going to be a litmus test for ensuring that the agreement will be honoured, delivered, and the integrity of the agreement will be supported by the managers, the key managers on the ground. And we need to look them in the eyes and say to them, are you getting behind that agreement like we're getting behind it? So I think onwards and upwards, I think it's been a positive day overall, and it's been great engagement and a great debate. And what I think is really important is the unit reps will take the message back into the workplace and engage with the members, and we will give them the tools to carry on that conversation as well going forward.
Spot on. Thank you, Andy. Dave, final word.
Yeah, I mean, look, we're not hiding away. We want to engage with our reps. We want to engage with the members, but we want to do that in the right way. We want to do that where everybody can have an informed debate and discussion, and that's always the most important thing. And at the end of it all, all of our members will get their chance to vote on the deal. That's what we want. What's important is you use your vote, whatever way you vote, make sure you use it. But let's have that informed debate, informed discussion, not based on social media comments, but based on proper face-to-face engagement. That's what we're committed to do. We're going to continue to do that over the next couple of weeks.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Andy. And thank you most importantly to everyone who's tuned in. We'll see you all tomorrow in Birmingham.